Hello, everyone. I have a very special guest today. A person who was a developer, turned an author, and then an entrepreneur who founded a blogging platform that has been used by a lot of developers out today. A platform that got 100 million plus views since it started and also powered more than 600k blogs. I know you guessed it right. Yes, I'm talking about Hashnode. And the person, the guest of my podcast today is none other than the co-founder of Hashnode, Sandeep Panda. I'm really thrilled and excited to having a chat with him, asking all the questions that are there in my mind because I've been using the platform for over 4 years now, have written 100 plus articles on the platform and been engaged with the Hashnode community in a grand way. So without any further delay, let us get started with today's chat, today's podcast. Let's get the story of inside the Hashnode. Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to the fourth episode of tapaScript Lab. I hope you're enjoying watching each of these episodes. And guess what? Today with me, I have a very special person, someone that I've been looking up to for years now, someone that most of you might be knowing if you are a blogger or a developer who reads a lot of stuff around. Hey, Sandeep, how are you doing? First of all,
I'm good. Thanks for having me here, Tapas. So excited to be here.
great. So, guys, here is Sandeep Panda. He is the co-founder of Hashnode, the platform that you all love for all the good reason. And before we get started, I have actually a lot of stuff to discuss with you, Sandeep, because I somehow attached to the platform for a quite longer time,
Yeah.
almost from the beginning of it. And I always have few questions. I thought, okay, someday if I do a podcast, and I have to start asking those questions. Many others also might be having similar questions right in their mind. So before we get started, let us start with a introduction of yourself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Again, thanks for having me here. Super excited to be talking to you. Yeah. Just a quick intro about myself. I'm Sandeep. I'm the co-founder of Hashnode. Super passionate about writing online and teaching people how to code. In fact, that's what led to Hashnode, right? So yeah. So that is the quick intro about me. But I remember that when you started writing content, it was kind of a coincidence because at that point, not many know this, but Hashnode used to be somewhat a Q&A platform around 2019, and at that point we pivoted to being a blogging platform because the earlier platform was not really working that well.
Hmm.
I think you were starting your journey of creating content around that period of time, and which is when you discovered Hashnode, and we got to chat a lot. And I think you were very helpful, and you shared a bunch of feedback, helped improve the platform. And one of the really early adopters who I'm still in touch with. So yeah, so thanks for choosing Hashnode.
No worries. I think it helped me a lot. Those initial days, you correctly said 2019, when I was thinking about, putting something on public and let people learn from the experience that I have.
Yeah,
I found the platform almost like accidentally, and yeah,
I think
there
you
is no
said that
stopping since then.
I think you said that you were googling it, right?
Yeah.
You were just accidentally bumped into Hashnode, right?
Yeah, I was trying to find out like, what are the blogging platforms available where I can actually start blogging. Then
Yeah,
I found something called Hashnode and then found a lot of discussion thread.
yeah,
Like people were discussing about a lot of stuff and some
yeah,
of the discussions were really intense because it was done by some senior developers.
yeah,
Right. And then there was a tiny bit of amount of thing about like blogging, like you can
yeah.
start write your own stuff. So I just randomly posted something. Then
Okay,
again saw some community members coming and started interacting with it. And that's how it all started actually.
that's good. Good to know that the CTA placement worked.
Yeah, that's right. So I think you when you envisioned the hash note like in
Yeah,
its earlier version, you told that you envisioned like a discussion thread, and so
yeah.
was it like a Stack Overflow kind of platform is like what you guys are envisioning or what it was in mind?
Yes. So yeah. So Fazl, my co-founder Fazl and I, we at that point we realized that existing platforms like Stack Overflow and others, they were not very welcoming or friendly towards beginners,
Mm.
right? And we had Quora, but Quora isn't geared towards engineers. So we thought, why don't we just create a platform that is dedicated towards beginner developers or friendly in general, right? Which is why we started Hashnode in the first place. That we build a friendlier alternative or option to Stack Overflow, and just build it as a platform completely for developers, unlike other platforms that were generic like Quora. So with that thought, with that in mind, we launched Hashnode. It worked pretty well initially, actually, and
Hmm.
we had a lot of usage. Like you said, you saw a lot of intense discussions on Hashnode. We used to have a lot of those intense discussions, Q&A on Hashnode. The community was brewing, um, and we also used to have a lot of this AMAs with influencers and the tech celebrities at that time. It was quite fun, but the problem is that after running it for a couple of years, the growth has was actually stalled.
Hmm.
It was not, it was not taking off after a certain point. And we also found it a bit hard to monetize it. And we also realized that, discussions is kind of a still nice to have, right? I mean, as an engineer, as a developer, you don't really get up one day and you decide that, okay, I will come and I'll just have some conversations or over something. It's still something that you do when you have some time. If you don't have time, it's fine. You don't visit Hashnode. So all of these realizations led us to kind of think about what could be a better alternative to Hashnode. I mean, what could be the next step for Hashnode if the Q&A and discussions are not working out? It's hard to monetize it. How else could we uh, monetize this? How could we grow? And at that time, Hashnode used to have three things. You could actually ask a question, or you could share a link like Reddit, or you could create a blog post. And the posts used to live on hashnode.com/post URL, but still, we used to have that blogging functionality back then. Yeah. So one fine day, we just realized that we were just going through the stats, and we just noticed that we still have a lot of blog posts coming in onto the
Hmm.
platform. A lot of writers who are creating content, and we thought, why are we one of those platforms where people give away their content for free, and it lives on our domain, so that and users have no brandability, or it doesn't live on their custom domain. They don't benefit from it at all except for the views. So, and at that time, Medium did not support custom domains. At the time, they had discontinued, and it was slow, and it was not very optimal and performant. And if you wanted to do this on GitHub pages, it's still kind of management headache. You have to
Correct.
maintain, upkeep it, right? So we thought, okay, we have the community and we have the tool which lets people create blog posts. Why don't we just build a platform that lets anyone start a blog on their custom domain in 1 minute, and just publish content on there and start publishing content on their custom domain. So at that point, we kind of pivoted and we just deleted all of those parts from Hashnode that were not working out. Deleted the Q&A, deleted link sharing, removed a bunch of things, and we just kept one thing, that you come to Hashnode, you have a community, but you come here primarily to create content and publish content on your own domain, as
Hmm.
opposed to other platforms where they take your content and they put it on their paywall. We were never a big fan of putting content under paywall and demand money for that. So we kept it free. So you can come to Hashnode, map your custom domain, and go from 0 to 1 in like 1 minute for free. And we thought, okay, we'll worry about monetization later. Let's just build the platform and grow, and see how to go from there. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that is the short story.
Yeah, I mean, that is how I have also seen it kind of evolving.
Yeah,
The best part, what you mentioned, is like, getting the complete control on your own content. Like you feel that you own it.
yeah,
Tomorrow, if you have to go to some other platform, it's just a matter of taking the content. You anyway have an established domain map. You map it somewhere else, and you can get started. I
exactly.
know that there are few people like who started with Hashnode. They also kind of wanted to have it kind of their own infrastructure built, and they did this remapping. I mean, it would have been very difficult for them if this feature was not there, though some of those people have done in their own infrastructure, but it was possible because Hashnode had given that infrastructure initially.
Yeah.
So that is really good. How did you guys come to this name Hashnode? I mean, is there any story behind that?
Yeah, I mean, the initial thought process was that we have a lot of tags on Hashnode that we used to call nodes at that
Okay.
time.
Okay.
So JavaScript, React, Node.js, um, and our core principle was that we connect all of those nodes through
Hmm.
a single feed kind of thing. So, which is why we call it hash node, which means it's a community of a lot of individual tech and tags, uh, and which is why the name hash node. It was not
Okay.
available, so we had to pay a lot of money to get that domain actually.
Okay. Yeah. The name is very catchy. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad. A lot of people, sometimes people think that it could be related to blockchain, or because of the part hash. But yeah, but it's pretty cool.
Nice. Now, if I look into Hashnode as a platform, like from the discussion forum to blog, and there also now it's a different version altogether. The version that we are seeing, it has lot of changes gone through, lot of improvements, maybe a lot of things you guys have discarded also. So
Yeah,
one thing I'm always curious about is like what kind of tech stack that you guys had started with
yeah,
way back that time,
yes,
and how the transition happened to what you are with today.
yeah. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, and yeah. So the very initial MVP or the prototype that we created long back, that was just powered by, I think, I don't know. I mean, it was probably Node.js, and we used to use something called EJS, which is a templating engine
Hmm.
for Node.js. So Node.js with EJS templating, and we used to host it on DigitalOcean very initially. But I think within a couple of years, I think 1 year or so, we once we scaled. I'm talking about the discussions forum thing, Q&A days. I think towards 2016 or maybe early 2016 or mid 2016. That point we rewrote the entire thing using Next.js. So we are a big fan of Next.js from the early days, um, and the main reason was that, I mean, templating was still quite hard using EJS,
Mm.
and at that time, I think React was also quite new at that time, but the whole idea of server rendering was amazing. And Next.js, actually, before going to Next.js, we actually had a custom homegrown solution which used to server render React components.
I see.
Yeah, and but it was too much hassle, and we don't like managing things that are not core to the business. So, which is why at that point there was a decision that we will migrate to Next.js, because Next.js makes it really easy to build universal React apps. That's
True.
what they
True.
used to. Yeah, right. So, and which is why we adopted Next.js from the very beginning in 2016, and from that time till now we have been on Next.js, and like Next.js keeps improving, and our platform also benefits from that. So yeah, it's completely Next.js powered. We also have a lot of backend infrastructure on AWS, but it's the front end is primarily Next.js.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, Next.js being, is kind of giving you everything, like it's a platter, right? uh, yeah, it's a solid framework to kind of get into and kind of map your use case,
Yeah,
like what you can map to and get that portion of it and get the thing going. Okay, good to know.
exactly. I mean, one thing that I would like to highlight is that, I mean, take things like OG image generation, for example. Look, we used to do that on our own,
Hmm.
but they released Vercel slash OG library sometime, I think 2 years back,
Hmm.
made the OG generation so easy. I think after that they also released the SEO metadata API as well, which also makes our lives simpler and
Correct.
easier.
Correct.
So these things are getting commoditized. They are now handling all of that so that we don't have to do it. So as a platform, we benefit a lot from this kind of improvements.
Cool. So, as a blogging platform, where I mean, for content creators, the biggest boost is SEO, right? I mean, they
Yeah,
want their stuff to always come up.
yeah,
How did you kind of focus on addressing that problem, the SEO problem?
yeah. Right. So from the very initial days when we used to do Q&A discussions, we used to focus a lot on the SEO,
Mm.
because as a content business, SEO, we used to depend on SEO a lot. Because at that time, we didn't have custom domain. All
Mm.
the content used to live on Hashnode. So we spend a lot of time, a lot of efforts to make sure that the pages are fast, they're snappy, they render really, really quickly.
Was it like your team's own learning, or you kind of learned it by your own, or you hired someone to educate yourself on
No,
SEO?
no, no,
How did that happen?
no, no, no. So we never hired anyone. So I'm a big fan of learning by doing, right?
Ah, cool, cool.
So both me and my co-founder, we just read up all the online documents. I mean, education is free online, right? So
Mm.
you can basically learn anything you want to learn. So we learned how SEO works, and what we can do to make sure that our pages rank higher. So we applied the same learning when we relaunched Hashnode with the whole custom domain angle. We applied the same learnings. I mean, we fixed the speed, ensured that the pages are snappy, and ensured that the accessibility is 100% spot on. Had the necessary SEO schema tags inside the page, and always we are paranoid, and we check the lighthouse score, the page speed insights, and just see that it's always uh, nearly 100. So we're obsessed about that, and which is why, if you go to any Hashnode blog and test its score, most of the times you'll get a score of 100 when it comes to SEO or accessibility.
Yeah. So that's something that even if you as a content creation platform not doing it, your users will do it at the end of it. Where exactly is ranking, and ultimately they'll come to you. Like it
Exactly.
is probably ranking behind. So this is
A lot.
one of the factor that you need to keep in mind, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the initial days, we used to get a lot of feedback from the community. Sometimes someone's blog, I mean, we set a benchmark that if you are using Hashnode blog, your SEO score will be higher. And sometimes people just see, okay, my score is basically 85. So let me ping Hashnode. Let me ask them what could be wrong. So we used to get a lot of edge cases from the community
Mm.
itself, and we used to improve those. Years of improvements have gone into making Hashnode what it is right now. So yeah, so I'm forever thankful to the community as well, because of their feedback and constant support. We have it, Discord forum where everyone is welcome to join and comment and share feedback. So that has helped a lot.
Yeah, sure. I'll share the Discord link in the description of this video.
Yeah, of course.
So one other thing that I feel to ask you is like when you started, there was not much about AI, right?
Yeah,
There were, but only few portion of the folks were talking about AI. Now everyone is talking about AI.
absolutely.
So, yeah. So if Sandeep, you and your co-founder has to form Hashnode team today, or need to start Hashnode today,
Yeah.
what will you do differently? What your thought process would be?
Okay, that's pretty interesting question. Yeah, but yeah, I think when you talk about I think, I mean, we were quick enough to adopt AI and use it inside Hashnode and let people, talk and express themselves using AI much faster, right? And we also have a lot of community folks on Hashnode who are writing about AI
Right,
and
right,
stuff
right.
like that, right? So one thing that probably I could do differently in terms of using AI effectively is probably just integrate AI on Hashnode where it makes sense.
Mm.
So one thing that I personally benefited from using AI inside Hashnode is that, so just a context that if you come to Hashnode right now and you go to the editor, you have uh, three different AI options. You have the AI powered chatbot on top right. You also have AI slash comments, and you also have AI based rewriting options.
Mm.
So these days, I'm able to write blog posts 10x faster than what used to take me previously,
Agree.
right? So right now, I'm able to dump my thoughts in a very, very crude way, which has a lot of grammatical mistakes, lacks coherence and stuff like that. But I'm able to dump my thoughts there, and from there, I ask the chatbot and the inline AI rephrasing tool to optimize it as I go. So that has led to drastic improvements in terms of the speed. So what we did initially is that this LLMs, the LLM integration used to cost a lot of money initially, and we used to, so which is why we put them inside a Hashnode Pro. But we later made it free. So,
Hmm.
so right now, if you come to Hashnode, you get all of these AI tools for free, right? So if I were to redo everything and restart Hashnode, and if you ask me from an AI standpoint, what we would do differently, I would definitely say that I'll probably see if I can integrate AI at some points inside the editor, inside the community, and see if that can improve and help authors create content at a 10x faster speed.
True, true. Yeah, and some of the things that I personally also realize, like when I go for writing my draft, it is not like that you have to generate the entire content with
Absolutely,
AI by yourself. That's not the purpose.
exactly,
You kind of give your ideas, give your thoughts a proper shape using an additional tool. So that's the purpose basically. And that caters to title, subtitle, whole body of the article everywhere, which is quite cool.
exactly. I tell this to everyone that Hashnode's AI doesn't really replace you; it
Hmm.
augments you, and it assists you to write faster.
Yeah. On the similar note, sorry, complete that.
No, I was just saying that we also have tiny improvements like image alt generation, which helps with accessibility and SEO. So if you're using Hashnode, you can actually, upload an image, and there is a small little button over there. You click on that, and we use AI to automatically generate the alt text for all the images.
Damn, I didn't know that.
We need to do a better job at highlighting those.
Okay, that's something to use in future. All right. So I have another question that is, similar term. So I kind of ask everyone, whoever my guest on my podcast, about the AI and the job security is basically right. So
Yes.
there is definitely a feeling that AI is taking our job away,
Yeah.
and of course, content creators are also fall into that bucket.
Yes.
Now, with this kind of mindset, where does a platform like Hashnode cater to? What kind of thing that they tell to the content creators in this kind of scenario?
Yes. Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. So my thinking is that, in my opinion, AI isn't going to replace people. I think it's going to set the baseline a bit higher, and it's going
Hmm.
to make people smarter. If you used to spend a lot of time doing boring, mundane things, you won't have to do that again. That part can be done by. So you will be able to solve much more complex problems and issues that are more urgent, instead of spending time on boring, mundane things, right? So think about it, right? When computers came, a lot of people thought that they will lose jobs, right? And look at what computers did. It actually helped people become 10x better and do things 10x faster. There's the same thing that I tell everyone, that as content creators as well, if you use AI to your advantage, you will be able to move much faster, and you can save time. Not
Hmm.
necessarily, not just content creators. And if you're anyone, if you're an engineer or a technical writer, you can use AI to save a lot of your time. I'll give you one example. So we used to get a lot of spam on Hashnode. I mean, we do get right now. I mean, we have been getting a lot of spam on Hashnode, low quality content and spam. Uh, so our community managers used to, and the moderators used to scan the whole website and used to delete them. But at some point, the magnitude of spam increased so much that we can't keep up with it. We can't possibly scan everything, and we would waste a lot of time. So one thing we did is that we noticed that we have a lot of historical spam data because of the past manual work. So we use that to train an AI model that can automatically predict whether a content is spam or it's a good content. So that AI powered bot actually cleans up all the spam on Hashnode right now.
Oh,
We
it's in
have,
already?
yeah, we
Great.
deployed it 1 year back, and every day it deletes like thousands of spam posts. Right? I mean, we have a huge spam problem. You might have seen a lot of spam comments on Hashnode as well.
Yeah, yeah. With links and all.
Yeah, I think you also reported a few of them
Yeah.
some time back. But those things are actually being handled by a spam bot right now. There is no human intervention. Sometimes we only intervene if there's a false positive. We get a report that this is not a spam, but the AI bot still deleted it, so we just restore it. But yeah, this is just one example of how AI can actually help you save time. So we saved a lot of time, reclaimed a lot of our time, and we can actually put that time into better use instead of cleaning the whole spam, which has no value.
True.
Right? So yeah, that is our stance as Hasnode.
Yeah, I mean to add to that, as a content creator, I also started facing some of these things. Like
Yeah,
some of the folks that I work with, I mean, as a content creator,
yeah,
either I create videos or I write for them. They kind of never tell me, like, that you don't have to do your work because AI is doing it. Rather,
mm,
some of them give me the tools that going to kind of make me more efficient. Like instead of giving like my 4 articles in a month, I can now give 6
exactly.
because I'm more productive. So from the content creator point of view, like if writing is your passion and you write quality content,
Yeah,
AI will be your additional tool to help you out than replace you. Like that's the way to look into.
absolutely, 100% agree.
Cool. Okay, I have few questions about the Hashnode team. I know some of them, but I'm sure like since you started and where you are right now, what does the team look like, and what is the composition and everything?
Yeah, so we have a small team of 18 people right now, and we are completely remote team. We don't have any HQ or anything like that. I think half of the team is from Bangalore. Sorry, not Bangalore, India, and some of our teammates are from Bangalore. And we have a small co-working space where we generally hang out once or twice a month. But we don't have an HQ, and we also have some members from Europe. I think you might have met some of them already online. Yeah, so it's pretty distributed. We don't have any HQ or fixed working schedule. We just communicate totally async on Discord and Google Meet. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's pretty fun. You have to communicate really well, and you have to be
Hmm.
really good at textual communication
Hmm.
because we don't see each other every day unless it's absolutely necessary. And we just get on a call every Thursday. We call it all hands, where we get some FaceTime. But yeah, beyond that, you have to work async and you have to be good at textual communication. But it's fun.
Yeah, cool. So how are the role distributed? Is like you have like developer, QE, designer, and what are the different kind of roles that Hashnode
Yeah,
recruits for?
yeah, right. So we we usually hire engineers, and we already have two designers with us
Okay.
who help us with designing, and we have 12 engineers with us right now, and we don't have a product manager as of now. um,
Are you hiring one?
no, there's also a fun story there. Right now it's just me and my co-founder who are doing the product management. I think it has its own benefits, and it also has its own demerits. Probably at some point we'll probably hire a product manager, but now the spirit of moving fast and breaking things, we're just overseeing the product as of now. um, and but we do have designers who help us.
Hmm.
So engineers, designers, and we also have a dev advocate as well. Yeah, so and we also have someone who is full time on support, although they like to write some code in between. But yeah, so yeah, that's the composition as of now.
As a founder, do you have that feeling sometime like if I sit and code or if I sit and solve that problem, man, I'll be doing it. Okay, whoever from your team listening to this, it's not for you guys. It's just for Sandeep to answer this. Do you have that feeling? Do you feel that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, all the time. See, as a fast growing startup, you always have a lot of problems that are not solved. It's not easy to
Hmm.
solve them, or because of whatever reason you're busy. The team is busy. They're doing something else. They're always something that is more urgent.
Hmm.
So I definitely feel the need to solve things, and I actually contribute to code, small minor fixes whenever I can. I don't do a lot of feature developments. I don't try to build things because the main problem is that I might miss the context. I might not know what exactly is being done, even though I know that I can fix it, but I might introduce some other unwanted side effect.
Hmm.
Plus, if I write some code and ship something, I have to maintain it, and I may not find time, because if something has to go wrong with that bit of code, I have to be available to fix it, but I may not have time. So I try to fix minor improvements from time to time, and improve a few things that are simple. But I usually do not do a lot of feature development. The last feature I developed is probably the inline review comments thing
Hmm.
that we have for enterprise publications, where you can just highlight a piece of text and attach some comments to it. I think that is the probably the one major feature I did some time back, but I often do not do uh, feature developments.
Cool. Yeah, good to know. As a founder, you might feel like, oh man, I'll be doing it much faster because this is what I need. Okay, Hashnode now is a growing community. I mean,
Yeah.
since the time it started, now the writer community is also growing, right? Any thoughts as founders that you have for giving more monetization tool for the content creators? I mean, the way they also feel empowered that content creation on Hashnode or
Yeah.
around Hashnode would be a cool thing to do and sustain.
Yeah, that's a good question. So one thing that we noticed is that, I mean, we tried with a bunch of things, right? So we used to have something called, when we used to have web monetization, we used to support
Yeah,
that hash node using Coil. I think that was probably, it's not available anymore. Web
it
monetization,
doesn't work, I think,
yeah,
anymore.
the Coil doesn't work, so we removed that. I think then we introduced something called hash node sponsors, where people can actually connect Stripe and accept some donations or gifts or micropayments. So that also worked quite a bit. But the problem is that there are a lot of rules that are changing constantly. I think a few months back we heard that for the Indian customers on Stripe, there is probably a wait list on Stripe. I mean, if you, we use something called Stripe Connect to connect this individual Stripe accounts to Hashnode. I think a few months back there was a problem with that connection because of some
Mm.
regulatory changes. So unfortunately, that also doesn't work that well. And the other option is that people, a lot of times they ask us, can we so ads on Hashnode? Can we include carbon ads or some other ethical ads on their blogs? So we also want to support it, but we are not able to officially support that because we have the two things that if if we let people paste random scripts, it could have a security implication, because
Yeah,
we store sessions on each blog for that, so that people can comment and like and things like that. The other thing is that it might also lower the quality of content on Hashnode, because if you have a lot of low quality content and on top of that you have a lot of ads, so our community value might reduce. That is the other angle. But we always want to try and test it out, and which is why we launched Headless mode.
mm.
We offer people starter kit. So in that mode, if somebody wants to integrate some ads, integrate Stripe or PayPal, or it's up to them, because the starter kit is 100% customizable and you have a lot of flexibility. So if they do that, then we are supportive of that. Feel free to embed scripts and make changes, accept donations. So we're experimenting with that, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, I'm personally in favor of supporting creators with more and more avenues. It's just that it's a bit difficult this way, but hopefully we'll figure it out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Headless probably opens the door a bit for doing their own stuff the way that they would like to. You want to add few more things about Headless, like what actually got you into this Headless thing and how is the consumption right now?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. So we always used to have users who used to complain that they cannot customize Hashnode to the fullest extent. As a managed platform, we have certain assumptions and certain look and feel that we have. We used to have something called custom CSS that allowed
Hmm.
users to change things a little bit. But the problem is that then that means that if we update the UI, it might break, right? We have hooks there in there, but most of the time they don't really follow the hooks. They target any div or any p or any HTML elements. So that breaks the UI a lot. And they also have to take care of responsive mode, dark mode, and everything. And I see a lot of instances where people have added custom CSS, but it breaks on phone. It breaks in dark mode. A lot of issues like that. So it's not a long-term solution
Hmm.
in terms of flexibility. And like I said, people always want to have the option to embed script or add some integration that we don't support yet. We support few default integrations on Hashnode. If you go to dashboard integrations, you will see some of the options, but there will always be a case where we don't support something and you just want that. That's number two. And there is always this idea that people want to host their blogs on their subpath, like you know
Yeah.
sandeep.dev/blog, right? So that they can group SEO under their primary Apex domain. Without the headless mode, it's very very difficult. It's tricky and won't work that well. And they have to hand over that entire DNS control to Hashnode. So all of these options helped us think about a new strategy. So we thought, how about we have GraphQL APIs? We have first class GraphQL APIs, and we thought, what if we built a front end that talks to our GraphQL APIs, and we give this front end to folks to install it on their
Hmm.
own account, put it on Vercel, Netlify, AWS, or DigitalOcean, can be hosted anywhere else, and it talks to us using our GraphQL APIs, and they can host it on their subpath as well this way through reverse proxying. So that led us to launch our first launch our GraphQL APIs last October, and then subsequently launch the headless mode slash starter kit, which is basically powered by Next.js and Tailwind. And that has worked really well. And the people, the advanced users who have advanced needs, who were previously dissatisfied with Hashnode's limited customization options, they are now able to customize it as per their liking, change any aspect. We have three themes in that starter kit. We have Hashnode theme, we have enterprise theme, and we have a personal blog theme. So they're just taking the starter kit, they're just getting started within no time. In 1 minute they're able to deploy the starter kit and customize it, change the look and feel, integrate ads, integrate scripts, integrate anything basically. So that opens up a whole new world of possibilities. And I keep getting messages and keep getting demos of people who are integrating it in the headless mode. I saw a tweet today, in fact, from I think Akos, who is also a Hashnode user, who integrated the GraphQL APIs, and he's now powering his headless blog using Hashnode. Pretty cool and pretty fun. Even I power my blog using headless Hashnode.
Yeah, it's cool. And I think as it is like you have these graphical endpoints, I mean, it doesn't also limit you to use the starter kit. If you are using Astro or using
Right.
any other technology, just give the GraphQL call, build your own UI and done, right?
Absolutely. We also see quite a lot of Astro templates and other templates as well. We in fact had a hackathon
Hmm.
on Hashnode starter kit headless mode where people created a lot of templates, different kind of template, different kind of technologies. Yeah, so if you don't want to use our starter kit, that's fine. You can just roll out your own front end and just hit our GraphQL APIs and get the data.
Yeah. And I guess that for individual bloggers, it's free, right? Anybody can.
Yes, yes. For individual bloggers, it's completely free. For teams, they have to be on our one of the paid plans to get that feature.
Cool, cool. Nice. Good thing. All good thing. So one other thing is like I think Hashnode has grown to the extent that is possibly get millions of unique users, new
Yeah,
users per month. What is the number, by the way? Now,
yeah, yeah.
right now.
We're growing quite fast actually. So I think a couple of months back, we hit 10 million plus views, and I think 3.5 million unique readers in a month.
Cool. That's very, very nice. So how do you scale to this volume?
Yeah, that's a good question. So everyone who joins Hashnode, they're obsessed about scalability. So one thing that we deliberately think about is how scalable the code is. So
Hmm.
one example is, I'll give you one quick example. So when we started team blogs, we used to have this feature to add more team members to your publication. So when we started, we hardly had any teams that had more than 5 members or 10 members at that time. But we always knew that at some point there will be a large user or large publication on Hashnode that would need thousands of team members. So even though we didn't had any real requirement to scale to thousands, we still wrote the code, created the data models in a way that it can be easily scaled to support thousands of members. So today we have publications like FreeCodeCamp
Yeah, it's huge.
who have thousands of team members, a lot of collaboration happening, millions of views. So that helps a lot to create a system that scales. That you think about scalability. It's okay if your platform doesn't have to scale. I mean, we don't want to scale prematurely, but at least you have to create your system in a way that it can be scaled when needed. That's number one learning. And the second thing is that we use a lot of managed offerings, managed services. We don't want to maintain anything that is not core to our business. So that's why we use platforms like Vercel. Uh,
Right.
we use platforms like AWS. We use databases like MongoDB Atlas, so that we don't really upkeep or maintain anything. We just outsource it to the people who do it the best, so that we can focus on the core problem of building a blogging platform that scales. Right? Yeah, and we cast everything aggressively. All the content you see on Hashnode, they're actually served from edge location that's nearest to your geographical location. Um, so we are super obsessed about speed, performance, and caching. So that helps a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Coming to your team, I mean, I'm always curious. Like, there are a lot of features that's being built, or at least you guys are envisioning and talking about. How does your internal review system look like? I mean, not only about code review, but I may come up with a feature as a team member that, hey, Sandeep, this feature is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
How do you have those kind of gatekeepers and all these things so that whether it has to see the light versus not? Who does this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, like I said, we don't have a product manager these days. So what we instead do is that we try to accept a lot of ideas from the team, and we ensure that we track them, because sometimes you lose things, right? You think that certain idea is great, but you might not remember it in a couple of
Mm.
weeks or days, and you cannot build everything instantly. There's always something that is more urgent than that. So the first thing that we do is that we use Linear for project management. So we instantly track it on Linear, and we just classify things as backlog, ready to be built, or ready, things like that. So we put it in the backlog, and then we try to see how important it is. How, if we ship it today, what kind of impact it can create, or what kind of pressing issues can it solve.
Mm.
So depending on that, we try to prioritize it in one of the upcoming roadmaps. So we don't follow any fancy sprints or any agile methods or anything like that. We just rank things in order of priority, and just at the beginning of the week we start taking things up and start building them. So yeah, anyone from the team, they can contribute ideas or take. We also have the broader community who hangs out on our Discord, and who is very very proactively sharing suggestions and feedback. So we track everything and just prioritize and just build them, and look at the impact. And from time to time, we also try to do internal hackathons,
Yeah.
where where we collect ideas from the team, and then create a list of approved ideas that the team can build. And any feature can be suggested, and it can be built, and then there is a grand prize in the end for anyone who ships their ideas to the production. So that is quite fun, and it just it's actually pretty good. I recommend everyone to host internal hackathons once in a while. For us, it has worked really well.
Yeah, ultimately, if something good coming in, it's helping the product at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool idea. Great. Coming to the Hashnode community itself. I mean, as you have a very strong community over there,
Yeah,
but you also have a focus on the enterprises, right? Hashnode enterprises.
that's right.
So, what are the plans for the community? Is Hashnode thinking very actively for the community to engage people in the events? I know there used to be hackathon. Even recently, also there were hackathons.
Yeah,
But are there any other ideas that you guys are thinking actively?
yeah. So yeah, it's true that we are focusing a lot on enterprises because one thing that we want to do is that we kind of revolutionized individual blogging, right? We kind of
Mm.
you know changed how people think about blogs, uh, but we still have a lot of things that are pending when it comes to enterprises. So you take a look at any enterprise, any dev tool company. Look at their resources tab. You see things like logs, change logs,
Yep.
docs. So we think all of these things have to be outsourced, and everyone needs those three things. Any dev tool company, any engineering focused product needs all of. Yet a lot of these companies they build these things in house, take months to build them, and it just wastes so much time and money. So which is why we are focusing on enterprise side of things right now, because we think there are a lot of things to solve there. We recently launched our upcoming docs product in waitlist, and on Thursday we'll be launching it on Product Hunt. We'll be taking off the waitlist, and there's a lot of excitement around that.
All the best for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. But the it's true that we will be focusing on a lot of this enterprise requirements of having an enterprise blog, enterprise docs, change logs. Will support all of these things, but I think we will still invest quite a lot on community, because it's the community that helped Hashnode reach where it is right now. We still have a lot of so many individual new writers that are discovering Hashnode, trying to
Mm.
create content and engaging in discussions. So we will definitely have a lot of those community centric initiatives like hackathons, events, and so on. It's just that last couple of months we have been very focused on getting the docs product out and focusing a lot on launching that. So I believe once we launch it in a couple of days, once we have a little bit more bandwidth, I think we'll be definitely be doing a lot of community centric activities to engage the community again, and there will be hopefully a lot of work there.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And I think that will be really awesome because the ideas and the growth ultimately to the product comes from the community a lot, basically from the idea, because varieties of individuals are using, varieties of mindset are using your product. So, yeah, it's good for the
Absolutely.
product as well. That's absolutely.
Exactly.
So, how you mentioned about the docs thing, I'm just looking forward to the launch, like, how it goes and all the stuff.
Thank you.
But how is the projection of other features, other ideas looking? Which way Hashnode is going and pivoting from here onwards?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we will focus a lot on both side of things. So on one hand, we have community, and I know that community needs a lot of features. You know, we have tons of feedback on our linear. It comes from the community itself. They are on Discord. They send feature requests, suggestions, feedback, and so on. Everything has been prioritized. But we're a small team, so we just try to maintain a good balance between the community side of things versus the enterprise side of things. So, but the last couple of months we have been heavily focused on the enterprise side of
Mm.
Hashnode, where we
Mhm.
focus on docs, enterprise blogs. So that has taken. I mean, I would say up to 75% of the time was actually spent there the last couple of quarters. But hopefully, in a few weeks, we'll be at a position where we can divide resources 50-50, where we built quite a lot of community centric features that the community has been requesting for. while also running the enterprise game. Because at this moment, if we have not launched the docs product, but we still have a few customers who are actively using docs. So, and we're also getting a ton of feature requests feedback from them. So it's a little hard to do this as a small team, but we have been trying our best to maintain a balance.
That's a good problem to have, right? When you have a lot of people trying the stuff and giving you feedback. Yeah, it keeps you busy in a positive way.
Absolutely.
We're coming towards the end of the podcast. I have a couple of more questions. So one of the questions is like, you were a very young entrepreneur, right? You
Yeah.
and your co-founder when you started. I guess maybe 3-4 years out of the college. Is that when you started Hashnode or
I think just 1 year after the
1 year?
college. Yeah, for 1 year we worked for an IT company,
Hmm.
but then we quit the job after a year. In fact, Fuzzle quit a bit before me. I think he didn't even complete 1 year. He just probably quit after 7 months of joining the company.
Yeah, the question that I have is like, what's your suggestion for this young entrepreneur? It's like who may be thinking whether they're in college right now, maybe in school, some of them
Yeah,
college or just came out doing some job, maybe frustrated, have ideas.
yeah.
I don't know about the success, but what would be your suggestion? Like, what kind of footstep that they should take forward?
Um, I mean, what worked for us is that we were able to take risk, and we were pretty young at that time, which means we didn't have a lot of responsibilities, and we didn't have and we're just fresh graduates from college, just 1 year of experience, so we could take a lot of risk at that time. And we came to Bangalore from Pune. We used to live in Pune, another Indian city, but we just thought that, okay, we want to build this. What's the best city in India that can help us raise some money, recruit a team, and start building it? We thought it's Bangalore, so we took the risk, came to Bangalore with no plans. So I think that is what we can probably I can recommend everyone, that if you're young, if you're able to take risk, by all means, please take that risk, and take the first step. Many people think about taking the risk. Many people think about taking the first step, but a lot of them do not do it. So that actually makes a lot of difference. To take the first step, you will actually work on something. You'll take some action, and action produces information. And on top of that, you can actually build things, and you can probably something good will happen. So that is probably what I'll recommend and suggest everyone to try.
Yeah, great suggestion. It's just the idea and thing should not be just in your head. It has
Yeah,
to come out somewhere. You need to do something towards it, right?
yeah.
Whether
You have to
whether it's
act.
failing doesn't matter. You need to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you fail. If you fail, you can probably do something else. You can go back and do your job, or probably start another company. It doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that you at least tried it.
And the last question that I have is like, when you started building things and you show a lot of promises, of course you have investors who comes in, people that you bank on.
Yeah,
So there might be a lot of brains come together, and there are always a chance that they divert you from the path that you originally had selected.
yeah,
You had a vision, but maybe some investor, somebody comes and say
yeah.
like, oh, that's not the way, you go this way. So, what is your take? How did you make sure that you are actually chasing the vision and the idea that you had originally, or what's your suggestion would be to those entrepreneur again, like how they can stick to, or is it good to stick to, or is it good to divert some time? I mean, any thoughts on that area?
Yeah. So there are basically two things to it. One is that when you choose partners like investors, you need to be careful. You need to choose investors who are supportive and who will
Hmm.
let you take the shots, call the shots, basically. So we are fortunate to have a lot of investors who are supportive and who know that it's the founders that call the shots. The second thing is that you need to have an open mind. And it's good to have a vision and chase it. But when you have smart people around you, like you have good investors, good team members, you probably need to listen to them. In the end, you have to take the shot. You have to decide what you want to do. But you need to have an open mind. So at some point, that actually helps.
Hmm.
So you may need to, you have done something for, let's say, a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years, but it's not working out. It's not giving you returns. At that point, somebody gives you an idea. Some investors tells you, do you want to pivot, do you want to try something else, gives you some ideas to try. Probably if you have an open mind, you'll probably try that out. You probably decide, then it's up to you to decide whether you want to do that or not. But yeah, I mean, no one will certainly force you to do anything if you have good partners with you. But it's important to acknowledge that and understand that there's always an option. There's always somebody who is on the same side of the table as you. Just have an open mind, and do not hesitate to pivot or try something else if your original idea, original vision is not giving the desired results.
So being open is a thing. Just
Being
be
open,
open.
yeah, yeah. I hope that makes sense. It's not too deep.
Great, great. Thanks a lot, Sandeep, for sharing, all these insights. So before we end, anything to the audiences, anything to the Hashnode community, anything to the bloggers, entrepreneur, anything you want to share? Your wisdom.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just want to probably thank everyone, thank the community for supporting Hashnode and choosing Hashnode from the first day. Um, and right now, we are spending a lot of time and effort to launch the enterprise side of things with our upcoming docs launch on Thursday. Would love to have everyone's support. Yeah, and we are super excited. And again, thanks everyone for supporting Hashnode with your feedback and suggestions and improvements. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you again. And thank you everyone who are watching this. And if you like it, let us know like what you liked. If you need me to do any improvement, let me know what I need to improve. And wish all the best, Sandeep, to you, Fazil, the entire team, your upcoming stuff. All the best, man.
Thanks, Tapas. I appreciate it, and thank you so much.